Hey guys, this is Trey with HGM, and I want to spend the next couple of minutes talking with you about a marker of a healthy church, specifically fellowship and community. Acts 2 tells us the result of Pentecost was the salvation of 3,000 people. And verse 42 tells us, and they continued steadfastly or intentionally and consistently in the apostles' teaching. And listen to the next three descriptors. They continued steadfastly in fellowship, in the breaking of bread, and in prayer. The word fellowship in verse 42 means they associated with one another and they built community. Growing up in the church, we had a fellowship hall, and every so often we as a church would gather there and we'd eat ourselves into a food coma and talk about nothing meaningful. And that was our concept of fellowship. The only intentional thing was the food. The concept of fellowship in Acts 2 does involve food as they broke bread together as a symbol and sign of covenant relationship with one another. Secondly, their relationships weren't superficial. They were very intentional. Their times together were thought out, and they used food to build community. You know, something powerful happens around tables when we eat together. Relationships are formed, people are heard, problems are solved, acceptance is felt, a place is made, and community is established around the table. A great book that helped me in our church with this is called From Tablet to Table by Leonard Sweet. I encourage you to check it out. A great way to build this type of table fellowship and community in a healthy church is through groups. Maybe you have Sunday school or other types of small group expressions. The expression doesn't matter as much as the intentionality and consistency of using the group to build real Acts 2 fellowship and community around the table. If you don't have any group structure, a great place to start is a freedom group. Reach out to our HGM team. We'd love to connect you with that resource. You can also use the 3-level growth track we have on the HGM website to start your groups. In addition to intentional fellowship and community around the table, Acts 2:42 says they prayed together. Prayer is important in building a community in 3 ways. First, you see, we build relationship and intimacy with who we pray to. We all know prayer helps grow our relationship with God. We also build relationship and intimacy with who we pray with. When you pray with other people, relationships are strengthened and community is developed. So our groups need to have intentional prayer time built in. Lastly, you build relationship and intimacy with who you pray for. In our groups, as we gather relationally around the table, share with one another, and pray for one another, biblical fellowship takes place and community is established. Pastor, I want to encourage you to prayerfully consider a group expression for your church, whether it's Sunday school, growth track, or freedom, or something else that intentionally facilitates community development and fellowship. Let's lead healthy Acts 2 churches through fellowship, breaking of bread around the table, and prayer.